news, and a new government report out this morning says that the economy grew at a faster pace over the summer as Americans spent a little more freely, and we're using Halloween pumpkins to show what we're talking about. And let's go to Kenny for more.
All right, well, so this is a special edition of our show, and a Halloween edition of our show. So our analysts decided to carve out some pumpkins and graphs to show exactly how the economy is doing, as you can see right here. And joining us now is Professor Sumner LaCroix from the University of Hawaii. So, Professor Sumner, explain what exactly these pumpkins are doing, what you wanted to show today.
Okay, so the pumpkins show us three different types of recoveries. So on this one here, we have the V-shaped recovery. We have the sharp decline, and then boom, the economy comes right back. That's growth at about 3.5%, 4%, 5%.
Right, that's
that
not
didn't
happening
happen
right now.
That's what we all hope for.
Exactly.
Okay. Then down below on the earlier pumpkin, if we go back to the other pumpkin, then there's the double dip. That's what a lot of people fear. The double dip, it goes down,
Sure.
it recovers a little bit, and then back on down. Okay.
And that we did not have that as well because the economy expanded at a 2% annual rate between July and September. Helped by, of course, consumer spending. We found that out in the GDP numbers that came out this morning. Now, tell us a little bit about what that does for the economy. It's a little bit of an improvement. The numbers, the GDP growing at a 2% rate. But is that enough to affect the unemployment rate right now?
Well, growing at 2% a year, that's enough, say, to employ the people who are entering the labor force. But we still have over 7 million people unemployed. And that's not going to reemploy any of those people. To reemploy the 7 million people that are still without jobs, growth has to be up there in the 3.5%, 4% a year. And we're not seeing that yet. And that's really the challenge of the Obama administration and the new Congress
now, some say,
over the next 2 years.
Now, some say 2% growth is good, but is it good enough for this economy?
You know, 2% growth is okay during normal times when we're at full employment. But we're so far away from full employment right now. We still have unemployment over 9%. And if we look at all the people who have part-time jobs or don't have the jobs that they really want, we're up at about 17%. So, you know, 2% is not nearly enough. We need to get economic growth up to 3 to 4% to reemploy the unemployed.
Okay, so but if we still stay at a 2% rate of growth, does that mean we are not going to go into a double-dip recession, or are there still some fears out there that we could go into a double-dip recession?
The economy is still very vulnerable. It still could happen. I think that this pumpkin here shows the likely result. This pumpkin here has this
slow growth,
slightly tilted L, where it goes down sharply, and then we have a slow recovery back. That's the likely scenario. But now let's suppose something happens in Europe, we find some decline overseas, there's an unexpected shock to our economy, then we could get that double dip that's over there on the other pumpkin.
And very quickly, I read something earlier today that said Halloween spending expected to hit $5.8 billion this year, which is amazing, almost an 18% jump from last year. Is this a good indication that people are starting to spend more? Consumer spending is good right now.
Well, I think we need to remember we're not heading down. The economy is recovering. GDP is growing. There are some people that have more money in their pockets. Here in Hawaii, too, we've seen a nice recovery in tourism numbers, but tourists still aren't spending all that much. So, yeah, I expect to see holiday spending be up above last year.
And that would represent, I think, Halloween or consumer spending a little slightly going up, as this
maybe that
pumpkin would
pumpkin
indicate,
could tilt just a little bit, and we could find that the growth starts to increase.
Well, Professor, we thank you for your time, and we thank you for spending so much time carving out these pumpkins as well for this special edition of our show. And if you'd like to see this interview again, along with any other of our segments from this morning's newscast, you can check it out this morning at kitv.com/thismorning. And